Jeff Wilson here with Tanner the Bulldozer Boser. Tanner, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. Listen, it's been quite a couple of weeks for you. You were set up to fight in the UFC on July 24th.
20.
20, yeah, and that fight was canceled. And I know this would be your first fight in the UFC. I love your record. I have been watching you for a while, 16-5, and excited to see you get there. But man, from getting that opportunity for it to turn around like that, what's that feel like?
Well, I mean, I was obviously really disappointed. I was ready. I was fully prepared. It was the evening before weigh-ins were the next morning. So it was just too late for them to find a replacement. I was mad at my scheduled opponent. UFC was awesome in that, they paid me my show money at least, and Reebok paid me the money I get from their sponsorship deal with UFC. So that was really professional and really great of them because the fight was canceled, no fault of mine. But yeah, I mean, I was disappointed, and I was really bummed because a lot of my friends and family had bought tickets because it was supposed to be in Edmonton, where I'm from Bonnyville, a town 3 hours away, but it's close. So, I mean, I had a lot of people in the city and a lot of people from town all come in that had already bought tickets. So, I mean, it's not my fault, but I still felt like, in a way, I kind of let them down. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't, but it sucks that a lot of people bought tickets specifically to see me fight. And then, I mean, it's a good card anyways. Awesome to see Frankie Edgar and Max Holloway. It was a wicked fight. And just to see, like, Frankie Edgar live would be awesome. Was awesome. But, for people who maybe aren't like MMA fans and just came to watch a friend of theirs or something, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. And so you're with Epoch Management, good management company, correct?
I'm with Epoch Agency, yeah.
Yeah, agency. And so what's the process? Do they immediately say, we're going to get you another one? Not that it affects the emotions at the time, because they say that, and you're like, well, is that going to be a year away? What was the process to set up this fight on October 18th in Boston?
Well, UFC told me that they were going to get me on a card as soon as they possibly could. They were pretty honest up front. They said they thought the Vancouver card was full and it would probably be later. This was the soonest they could get me on a card, which is fine. I'll be ready to go.
No, I'm super excited for it. I think it's an awesome place to be fighting in Boston. So I think it's going to be a really unique experience, and I think you're really going to like it. Different opponent?
Yeah, Daniel Spitz.
Does that change your training at all? Or?
No, I mean, it changes my game plan, but not my training. And yeah, it's a different opponent. I don't know what they're going to do with Lemos, but I'm sure they're either going to cut him or he'll have a 2-year suspension for what he was caught with. It'd be to his benefit to cut him. I don't see why they'd keep him around.
Yeah, I hear you. But we're super excited. So for anybody who want to watch Tanner Boser, he will be on UFC on ESPN on October 18th coming up, and it is going to be awesome. And the one thing that you make me really excited to watch your fights, because you're a grinder, you have hard work ethic, but you also have these super fast kicks that come out of nowhere that are so fast and so high. For heavyweights, they take you aback, and that's one of the most things that I love when I was doing the research on your fight. So make sure we'll get a lot of people to see it. It'll be an exciting fight. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I'm kind of known for my low kicks, not so much my high kicks. But Daniel Spitz is 6'7", so I don't know if I'll be whipping out any high kicks on him. But yeah, I mean, I do like to kick.
Yeah, I think you got 2 wins from leg kick TKOs, which is just amazing. So very, very exciting. So listen, let's go back now. Let's talk about your journey into martial arts and fighting, and let's go just even a little further back to your parents. Were your parents from Edmonton or the small town Alberta? Were you brought up there?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Bonnyville, Alberta, where my parents. Well, my mom was born there. My dad wasn't. He was from, just a different small town in Alberta. But yeah, they're both from Bonnyville, and I was born and raised there.
What's the population of Bonnyville? Like We talking
Well,
about
I think it's gone down. The oil field kind of took a hit, but I want to say it was 7,000, give or take.
and how do you get, and so did you go to school in Bonnyville then?
Yeah, I went to high school in Bonnyville.
Yeah. And so where does your career in athletics and martial arts start to begin in such a small town? Or does it begin on the farm in the oil field and fighting just because there's nothing else to do?
No, I did karate growing up. I did karate from when I was 11 until when I was like 20. So we had a karate dojo in Bonnyville. It was the only martial art at the time. There is a boxing gym, but I didn't really get into that till like later on. I got my black belt in karate, and I started watching UFC when I was in high school. Became a sport that I really followed and really liked, and then I just wanted to do it and thought I could. Kind of when Lyoto Machida bursted onto the scene, and he looked like a traditional karate guy, and he was winning, and I thought, I'm like, hey man, maybe I could do that. So then I wanted to do it.
Fantastic. And so where did you bridge the gap from karate into mixed martial arts?
Well, I started training with some friends in Bonnyville, like just buddies. You know, no one really knew anything. You know, I had a buddy who was like a bronze gloves boxer and a couple other buddies who were just athletic and decent at fighting. And we would just do what we thought was the right thing to do. And we would just, we'd do our best to train. We didn't do fuck all in retrospect, but we thought we were well, and that's just kind of what we did. And
it's funny, you know, you talk to guys even like Brian Bird and other coaches from way back in the day, and they all did the same thing. They got their video cassettes. They didn't have any schools anywhere at the time. They all started training on their floors in their garage, and that just built that passion and excitement. And then a light bulb goes off when you kind of think you learned something, and then you go from there. But it's interesting. Most fighters have that same story where they started the love for it without ever having any real understanding of it. When did the understanding start to come? When did you really start to train?
Probably trained properly after my second pro fight. So after my second fight, I moved to St. Albert, which is like basically Edmonton, where I went to train at Hyabusa full time. I trained there for years.
Yeah.
Before that though, after my first pro fight, there's a guy in town who was working there, and his name was Jake Sampson, and he was a brown belt, I believe, in jiu-jitsu from Calgary, and he helped me and my brother and a couple of my friends in jiu-jitsu, and that was like helpful right at the start. And then as for striking, it was still just with my buddies. So I got 2 pro fights in like that, and then I moved down here to train seriously because I figured I should stop pushing my luck.
How many? I'm sorry. How many amateur fights did you have before your pro fights? You got a pretty good pro career already.
I didn't have any amateur fights.
You went straight pro.
Yeah.
So that's second. Wow, that's amazing. How did you make that decision that this is something you want to do and to go make money? Was that a hard decision, or was it just natural progression for you?
There wasn't really amateur stuff back then. It was way harder to find in Alberta.
Yeah.
And I didn't really care. I'd watch some King of the Cage, and I just was like, I'll get in there and I'll do that. It was an uneducated, dumb decision. I wouldn't recommend it. You know, kids wanting to start now, I'd tell them to do some amateur fights. Although I do believe Tapology showing your amateur record kind of defeats the purpose. I think you shouldn't be able to find an amateur record because there's a record of it. So what's the point? You might as well go pro right off the bat. You can fight lower caliber guys at the start still. But no, I definitely had no business going pro when I did. I just kind of got lucky, and then kept going.
It's interesting that you say that, because that sounds like you understand the danger of it, and yet you still had, I mean, your first 6 fights you were winning, so out of your brute strength. But to say that you had no business going pro at that time, yet to have submission wins, TKO wins, and decision wins all in those first 6 fights, what did you feel you were missing, or when did you know, okay, now I'm ready? When did things start to click for you?
Well, like I said, after my second fight, when I moved here and trained at Hyabusa with real coaches and real training partners, and learned that I didn't know anything at all, and I'm learning from like Jee Montemurro, who's still my coach, and Luke Harris, who's a very, very good jiu-jitsu coach. And, I've been training with like KB Bhullar for my like whole career since I moved here. And guys like that, my training partners have changed over the years, but it was a real wake-up call. I expected it, though. I didn't come in here thinking I was going to be hot shit. So, I mean, I had a lot to learn. I just learned fast and I improved fast. But no, if you saw my first fight, you would agree I had no business being in there. I didn't get away with it because of any kind of strength or I just was tough. I was just tough. And I don't know. I just survived a beating till I could win. I won my second fight actually pretty well, but that guy, I don't know where he was training. He didn't really have a great career after that. So yeah. I started to fight real competition a few fights in. I never fought anybody with a losing record ever.
Interesting. I love it, and I love the fact that you really have to be tough and durable in this sport, and you've shown that you are. I remember starting to train, and did you have an experience when you got there to go, oh my God, I've been doing this wrong, this wrong, this wrong? Like, for example, when I started kickboxing, I didn't know that the jab was used to time or to use distance and to do that. And then I didn't understand the purpose of an underhook, which is ridiculous if you are training and know those things. Do you remember at Hyabusa a moment where you're like, all these light bulbs start to pop
out? No, I'm sure there was tons and tons of light bulb moments, but I don't know if I can think of any specific ones. They're just constant learning, by way of you having to learn because you're getting beat up in the
gym. Yeah. As you're starting to and what's really cool about your pro career is it seems like it's taken you a while to get to the UFC, but you've been all around the world fighting heavyweights everywhere. What's that like? Move that much traveling to other countries?
Well, it depends on the country. Some are awesome and some aren't so fun. But even the places that I don't like going to or don't like, it's still a good experience. I've got a lot of cool, weird experiences and a lot of life experience. I feel I like every single experience I've had over there, even the ones that actually sucked. So it's kind of weird, but I like having those opportunities. To me, that was a boon. Maybe some people look at having to travel for a day to go fight and have your your whole the time zone's messed up, your body clock's messed up. It's hard, but I like it in a way. Like, it's cool, and I just enjoy that I was able to see other parts of the world, places that you can't just go to some of those places. But even, places you can go to that are super cool, like Australia and Dubai, I probably otherwise, who knows if I would have ever gone to those places. So it's just provided me with a lot of cool travel and experiences that I don't think I otherwise would have got.
What like when I think about traveling, I do some extensive traveling, not as well, but I know when I talk to fighters, the big thing is, and I was just talking to Matt Jelly, who was in China for Wei Li's championship fight, and he was like, it's such a different environment. He's trying to stay positive, but the food is so different and that's your fuel to go forward. Was there, of the places you've traveled, have you found that to be an issue yet, or is that you'll eat anything?
Well, you eat, like, you have to eat. So, I mean, you're going to eat the stuff in a lot of parts of Eastern Europe. A lot of their meat that is available at the hotel buffets and stuff is kind of like hot dogs and sausages and stuff. Not ideal meat, obviously, to be eating like right before a fight, but sometimes it just is what it is. You pack your protein bars or whatever you got, and maybe you can find some restaurant where you can get something you recognize as like all right food, and sometimes you can't. You just got to do it. the thing is that everybody there has to eat the same thing. So even if you think, it's not good for you or it's kind of a disadvantage, unless your opponent, I guess, has someone there where they can go cook chicken breast in their house or something, everybody's at the same disadvantage. So it all evens out.
Yeah, but it's the funny thing about traveling when you first start to travel, and I agree with you. It's you gotta enjoy the culture, you gotta eat what you're given, and sometimes you just hope that it agrees with you, or you focus on other things, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a time in a fight or when you're training where you needed some advice that actually stuck with you and started to propel who you were, either in a tough time in your life or just advice that made sense to you and made it part of your belief system throughout your fighting career?
I don't think so. I mean, it's a pretty profound question. My coach always says, if you want to scream with the eagles, you got to howl with the wolves, or the other way around. I don't even know. You want to run with the wolves, you got to fly with the eagles. Always some shit like that. Just means go ahead, have fun, and go ahead and enjoy your life. But when you get back, you always got to hit the gym hard. You always got to suffer to get the alcohol out of your bloodstream and stuff like that. But you can do it. It's just that you got to pay for it every single time.
Yeah.
Run with the wolves, you got to scream with the eagles. Something like that.
I love it. What you're starting to, I mean, as what I see today from a lot of fighters, Tanner. But before that, let me ask this question first. How did you get the nickname the Bulldozer? I love it.
Yeah, man, it just rhymes.
Are you in construction at all, or was it just something you did, or were you running guys straight over?
No, I was never in construction. After my 5th fight, two of my training partners made a comment like, "Oh man, you just bulldozed that guy," and Mitch Clarke made up a stupid nickname for me because it also rhymed, and bulldozer was a play off of it. It was just a bunch of dumb stuff that kind of conglomerated into that nickname.
I love it, and it's tough not to be be a victim of Mitch Clarke. That guy's hilarious. So
yeah,
we can totally understand that. Now that you kind of have a platform for the UFC, and you're getting there, and you're getting to the big show, do you have a message that you want to either share with your fans and your family, or to the world in general, or to the UFC heavyweight division?
No, I'm not a philosopher. I don't got anything important to say. I'm just out here fighting. I don't got any message, man. None.
I love it,
I'm
man.
an idiot.
Listen,
I have nothing to say. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, I love it because everybody, you can see it sometimes when the commentators go out there and they put the mic to the fighters and everybody's taking way too long to talk about whatever they want, and it is refreshing to have someone say, "Listen, man, I'm just here to fight." So I appreciate that, and some fans will too as well. You have a big fight coming up. I really appreciate you taking the time, Tanner. Best of luck on October 18th. It'll be on UFC on ESPN in Boston, and Daniel Spitz. Best of luck, and we'll talk soon.
Hey, thanks.